Welcome to I Am Well podcast. I am your host, Gemma, a nutritionist and mindset coach passionate about all things health and wellness. I'm going to take you on a journey to discovering what health means for you and how to create a life you love living. I'm on a mission to uplift those who feel overwhelmed with what it means to be healthy, reminding you, my listeners, that nutrition is only one aspect of health, and empower you to live your best life on your terms. Let's get to it. Hello everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of harnessing the power of your hormones. So today is my favorite topic of all, and you may hear me harp on about it quite a lot because literally I am so passionate about fasting. I never thought the words would come out of my mouth for that, actually. I never thought I would say I'm so passionate about fasting. Because back in the day, I used to think fasting was not good for women's health. It was not good for your mental status as well. I used to think as fasting is really restricting. You know, you just stop eating. How? That can't be good for you. It sounds really scary. But it wasn't until I came across Dr. Mindy Pelz, who teaches it in such a way that is empowering, that it forces women to understand their hormones and their cycle, and it gets results. And I'm not just talking about weight loss results. I am talking about mentality, your way of living, your lifestyle. Like, the weight loss is like, yes, you can get weight loss results, but that is least on my benefits agenda. Honestly, it's changed my entire health, really, from the inside out. And I don't just base it off losing weight. I literally base it off how I feel. And that's what you should do. You should never base your health off the way that you look, how much weight you've lost. You should base your health off the way that you feel. That's when you know that you're getting results. If you're feeling better, if you're feeling healthy, if you're feeling more energized, if you're understanding your body, that's when you know it's working. So today is part 2, and we are talking about fasting for women and aligning it all to your cycle. Before we begin, I'll just start by saying that our new program, this is a 6-week program, is actually launching end of next week. So it is launching on Friday, the 27th of September. And make sure you are looking out for it, because when it launches, we have early bird pricing set up. This early bird pricing is only going to be there for the first two days. So you are only able to access this early bird price for the first 2 days. Then, if you are on our wait list, you will actually be given a discount code, so you get a further savings off that early bird price. So you're saving something like over $400, which is insane. Okay, so make sure you're on the wait list. The link will be in the show notes below. But this 6-week program, it not only has fasting, it not only gets you to understand your hormones, but it also has the aspects of your external environment as well. So if you've ever been on a mission to make sure that you're living this way of life holistically, so you're feeling better and you're taking control of your own health, if you really want to create that life that myself and my friend Gabby, who's a health coach who's organizing the program with me, if you want to live the way that we have done, and we have seen amazing results with so many other people as well, then this program is for you. It's for those women who are trying to create balance, who are burnt out, who are trying to do it all, and the messages out there are just confusing the heck out of them. This program is simple, it's easy, you get the tools for yourself, and then you get to take control of your own health. Plus, you actually get to do it with other women that are doing it too. So you get to feed off each other. You get that community aspect where you have each other's backs. And it doesn't feel like it's some restrictive program again. It feels like a way of living and an easy to live lifestyle. And you're going to love this program because we literally put our heart and soul into this, and we are so happy and excited for it. So I can't wait until it launches. So make sure you're on the wait list for that. Also, I do have my eating guide for a fasting lifestyle launching on the same day, as well as an alternative module that is coming out. So if you have been wanting to work with me, but you're afraid to make the leap, I do have some programs that you are able to sign up for first, which is a do-it-yourself, own pace programs. It's really, this first one that's launching has to do with the eating guide. So it's more about fasting 101, how to start. If you want to start living this way of life and you're curious, you've been curious after listening to me, watching me, then this is kind of the base program for you to start off with, and I highly recommend. So you just start off with this program, do it yourself. There's going to be 3 modules in there, as well as a bonus module material and PDF, and the eating guide for a fasting lifestyle is also going to be in that as well. So this just gives you a little taste tester and how to get you started yourself. All of that is launching on the 27th. So the 27th is a big day for me and the business, and I'm so excited for you all to see. Like, the growth is, it's just going to be, it's been amazing already so far. Like, so much has happened this year, and I thank you all so much for listening to me, for trusting me. I literally had someone the other day who came to one of our wellness retreats in person, and she has been trying to lose her stubborn baby weight. So when she was pregnant, and she's given birth like last year, and she's been trying to lose this weight, and she has been struggling, and she listened. She took my advice on board. She didn't have to, but she did, and she has lost 7 kilos now. And we did that retreat back in, you guys would probably know. I think it was back June or July. No, we did in July. She came to the one in July. So it was early July. And yeah, so she has lost 7 kilos since then. That is incredible. And you know what? That wasn't because of me. I'm not going to say that was me. That was because she took some advice and she decided to do it herself. She decided, you know what, I'm going to try this and I'm going to see if it works. And she pulled it off and it worked. You know, that's incredible, and that gives you the power. She didn't go and get out and get some medication or some quick fix diet supplement or something like that. And I'm not saying that if you have done that, that's wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's so much more empowering when you can take it into your own hands and you're like, I did that. Like, it's incredible. So, you know, like sometimes when you take the drugs and stuff, it's you're giving the power to the drugs. You're like, I didn't do it, and it can bring you shame and guilt because you're like, I had to go to the drug, and that's not fair. And I don't want to give the power to the drug. I want to give the power to you. So that's why I'm giving you this knowledge so that you can take it into your own hands and you can try it for yourself. So many women have. So it's possible. All you have to see is one woman do it. So many women have done this and have seen amazing results. So you can too. Okay, so let's get started with this part 2, fasting for women and aligning nutrition with your cycle. Okay, so fasting, as we know, it works differently for women. It is not the same for men. And when it first came out, when it was this huge craze, like the intermittent fasting, it was this big thing. Everyone started to say, hang on a second, this is messing with my hormones. The women were going, this isn't working. Some women were thriving, and some women were saying, this isn't working, I'm putting on weight, or I'm not having a period anymore, it's messing with my hormones, with my cycle. And then the flat rule just came out of, okay, women can't fast. we need to stop this. Women can't fast. And the thing with that makes me frustrated is there was no investigation as to why. It was just women can't, and I don't like the whole women can't do this, because women can do anything. So why can't women do this but men can? Like, I hate that knowledge around it. And it's kind of like, oh, well, it's just because of their hormones. Like, once again, we're villainizing the hormones. It's not because of the hormones. The hormones were the messengers, and they were just sending you a message, and they're saying, hey, I don't like it when you fast at this time, okay? But we can fast at this time and we can be thriving. And this is all about what this 3-part series is about. It's about harnessing the power of your hormones. So in saying that, let's go over again. Those first day 1 to day 10 is when you're building up estrogen. When you're building up estrogen can handle your body being under a little bit of stress. It can handle it. And when you're fasting, that's creating a little bit of stress. So it's bringing up those cortisol levels. Estrogen can handle that. So this is the perfect time to fast. I love choosing day 3 or day 4 of my cycle to start fasting. I find that's the best day for me. I'm not saying it's going to work for everyone, but the reason being is when I have my period day 1, I can be a bit lethargic. It can be a bit full on. So I like to, and I've just gone the week before, I've just done my hormone feasting with no fasting. So I don't like to go straight into wham bam, you're doing like a crazy 24-hour fast. I like to ease into it. So my first fast, now I've been fasting for a long time now, so this might be long to you, which is fine. You just do what you can do. And we'll go into how to begin. But when I first get to that day 1, so my first day of bleed, I'll do something like a 15-hour fast. And then the next day I'll do something like a 17 hours. 17 hours is generally pretty easy for me now. But I know for some people it can be a bit of a struggle. And that's just training your metabolism. It's just working it out. So that's all that is. It's like building up muscle. It's the same thing. So the more times you do it, the more times your metabolism will readjust itself, and you'll find it easier and easier. So I'd like to start off slow with that beginning phase. And then on day 3 or day 4 is when I'll chuck in my bigger fasts. Lately, I've been doing 24-hour fasts. They're really easy for me now, and I love doing them because I just feel so much better after, and I know it's how good it is for my gut. But this week, I'm actually, because we're doing in my balance program, which is my group program, we are in our last month of the program where we're doing a 30-day reset. So my goal for this month is to do a 48-hour fast. Now, I've only ever gotten up to a 36-hour fast before. So today, I've let the girls know in the program, today I am eating up until 4 o'clock. And then 4 o'clock, I'm stopping eating and I'm opening up my fasting window. And I am fasting until Friday night at 4 o'clock. Then I will break it. I have tried, if you've been listening to me, you would have heard this before. I have tried 48-hour fasts before, and I have had to cut it short because I test my glucose levels, and I make sure with all my clients, if you ever do anything like a 24-hour fast or longer, you should always test your glucose levels. And ketones as well. I test glucose and ketones. If you're like, what the heck, what does that mean? You need to go back to a couple of episodes where we talk about glucose and ketone levels. Otherwise, I will do another episode on this. But yeah, reach out if you're like, what the heck does that mean? I will send you the episode on that if you want to listen to it. But for today, let's just get into what I do with fasting and how to line it up with your hormonal cycle. So that's what my plan is this month. Now I am on day 6. So day 6, I'm starting that fast. As I said, I usually do it earlier. But remember, we have life. There's things that are going on. And I have had a hectic, busy last couple of days where I've been moving. I've had a branding shoot. So much has been going on. So I chose to make it this day, on day 6, and then be breaking it on day 8 of my cycle. So then I've still got good, day 9 and 10 just in case, to lessen my fast. So I will keep you all posted. You will find out, I guess, next week's episode how I went. But that is the best time to be fasting, is during that day 1 to day 10. And then when we go to day 11 to day 15, that's in our what we call the manifestation phase, or what Gabby and I like to call our bloom phase. This is when all the hormones are up and we are thriving. This is actually not the best time to fast, however. The reason being, yes, estrogen is high. Yes, estrogen can handle stress. But we also have testosterone in the mix. And we have progesterone starting to come onto the scene. So testosterone's really high here. Like, this is when you get your highest burst of testosterone. So it's actually the best time to be lifting weights and stuff, because that's our easiest time to build muscle. If you're doing my holistic program, however, Gabby will go into all of that with exercising around your cycle. So stay tuned for that if you're in the program, or if you're on the wait list, coming soon. But yeah, the progesterone is starting to come on the scene there. And now progesterone isn't high here, but it's kind of there. It's just in the background. It's that friend that's kind of like, silent, but there. They're just a fly on the wall. So we need to make sure that we're still minding that progesterone. So during this phase, we don't want to do any big crazy fasts, not only for progesterone, but also more so for that testosterone, because testosterone is like progesterone and it can't handle stress, and it will shut down. And, believe it or not, but women don't just need testosterone for libido, and they actually need it for motivation, for making them feel better. So testosterone is really important, and we also need to mind it. So no fasting, no longer than 15 hours. I really recommend, if you're like expert at fasting, you've been doing it for a long time, maybe 17, but no more than 15 if you don't fast often. Okay, so then this is what gets a bit confusing, is this window of opportunity that I like to call it, and that is day 16 to 19. So this day 16 to 19, all hormones are just crashing, Progesterone's there, but it's low. Testosterone crashes. Estrogen crashes. So this, and I'm not saying it's happening from day 16 to 19. I'm saying it can happen any one of those days. So any one of those days, this is why it's so important to track your emotions. You could be feeling absolutely crap, and it is because you are on this high, like you were having all these emotions up high, and then they just all came wham bam crashing down. And I know that sounds very dramatic, but that is so key and so important, because a lot of women during this phase, they'll go to their doctors and they'll be like, I'm feeling really depressed, really anxious, I'm not handling anything. They'll be so down in the dumps, and the doctors don't even kind of go like, they don't have enough time. I don't like to blame the doctors. They don't have enough time, but they don't look at the whole picture and kind of go, where are you at in your cycle? Because if you are in this day 16 to 19, chances are you've just had a huge crash of hormones, which is why you're feeling so shitty. And because we don't track our cycles and emotions enough, you might not even realize. Like, you might think, oh no, I'm still in my manifestation phase. Or you might be thinking, no, I'm way into my luteal phase now. I'm way down the track there. But it always changes. It's never the same each month. So just because you had the hormones crashing on day 16 one month doesn't mean the next month you're going to have it the same. So this is why tracking is so important. Once again, I will leave my free tracking calendar in the links below. If you're interested, you can download it and you can start tracking it today. Use a laptop or desktop, otherwise print it out and do it yourself at home. Okay, so day 16 to 19, remember that. We have a huge crash of hormones. So we don't want to be doing any, well, actually, in saying that, I do like to chuck in a good fast here. Sometimes I do a 24-hour fast because all the hormones are low. When hormones are low, it's a good time to fast. When hormones are high, we shouldn't fast, okay? That's kind of the general rule. As we're building up estrogen, it's okay to fast because estrogen isn't high yet. It's just building. In this window of opportunity, all the hormones are low, so we can fast again. However, I have given recommendations to clients who are trying to boost their fertility, they're trying to fall pregnant. I actually say to them during this time, I wouldn't do anything longer than a 15-hour fast, and I would more so focus on what they're eating in their eating window. So that's really key in here. And this is why it's really personable, this kind of lifestyle, and you have to make sure that we're doing what works for you and what your goals are. If you're trying to fall pregnant, I actually would say don't do any huge crazy fasts in this window of opportunity here. So from day 20 until you bleed, this is what we call the nurture phase. So we do not want to do any fasting here, okay? No more than 12 hours, really. Make sure that you are eating. So if you've ever seen anyone out there saying women can't skip meals, women should be making sure that they're eating constantly for their hormones, that's technically right in this section, which is called the luteal phase, scientific name, but what we like to call the nurture phase. This is the time where you actually shouldn't, and you should make sure that you are having those meals. You are making sure that you're having breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you're only fasting 12 hours, okay? This is also when I tell my clients here to make sure that they're bringing up their carb load. However, I don't mean going into more breads and pastas. I just want to make sure that really sinks in. Because when you say bring up the carb load, women are kind of woohoo, I'm going to go buy a bag of chips, which I actually do like a bag of chips this time of the month. However, I always make sure I go to the health food store. I get the bag of chips that is only made with extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil, and those are the chips that I'll have. And they've only got the 3 ingredients, which is potatoes, the oil, and sea salt. Stay away from the toxic oils. Do not go for chips that have sunflower, canola oil, vegetable oil. They're all bad for you. Yes, I just wanted to put that in there. But also, in saying that, do what you can with what you have. I know that maybe those chips I just talked about could be very expensive. Cost of living nowadays is crazy. But including this fasting lifestyle is going to help you with the cost of living, because when you're doing those fasting days, you're actually eating less without realizing, unless you're jam-packing your food within that eating window, which you really shouldn't be, because we need to make sure during the first phase, you're more so just focusing on less carbs and more fruits and vegetables and protein. I'm so sorry, I'm going way off track here. You're all probably Gemma, calm down. I'm trying to listen, and you're taking me off you're going off another tangent. Okay, so let me bring it back to the luteal phase, back to that nurture phase. So to clarify, bring your carb load up, but bring it up with potatoes, bring it up with pumpkin, bring it up with cauliflower, all the vegetables you can. So many vegetables, add them in. Beans, lentils, everything, legumes, all of that. Bring it up with that, and make sure you're having still your healthy fats in there as well, like your flaxseed oil, your avocado, almond butter, having it all there as well. Apples are a great time during this nurture phase. Dark chocolate is awesome because the magnesium there is really going to help you the week after when you have your period. This is a great phase to add all of that in. So that's what I'm talking about, carb load. When you're in one of my courses, one of my programs, or I even will have it included in the eating guide. When you download that, you have a full list there to give you an understanding of, okay, what foods do I want to look for in what section? And in that eating guide too, it's going to give you some ideas of like what meals to cook for in certain times. So like that day 1 to day 10, 11 to 15, the window of opportunity, and that day 20 to bleed. So that eating guide's really going to help you. So stay tuned for that when that launches on Friday the 27th. Okay, so we went through all the phases and when not to fast. I told you that in that nurture phase, you want to bring your carb load up there. The other time that you want to raise your carb load a bit is during your bloom phase, so your manifestation phase, which is that day 11 to 15. We want to bring the carb load up there, but what I also highly recommend during this time is bring it up with lots of salads. You know, you can still have like potatoes and beetroot and stuff and cook it in a salad, but lots of salads during this time is going to help because when we have salads, we can add lots of seeds in there. We can also add lemon juice and make really bitter foods. We can add flaxseed oil on it. And all of this is going to really help our gut and our liver. And our gut and our liver is best to look after during this bloom manifestation phase. Because we're building estrogen up, right? And estrogen is at its highest, but we need to detox estrogen as well. And the best way to detox estrogen is using our liver. And the best way to help support our liver is our gut. Okay, so our gut and our liver during this time is most as our priority. So make sure you're having lots of salads, add in some lemon, add in some bitter foods, and really, because bitter foods are what going to help strengthen your liver during this time. So that's what I'm talking about, why bitter foods. So during that days 11 to 15 is when we want to be doing that to help detox the estrogen after we've built it up. Because when you build it up and then you start having your estrogen crashing and falling, we actually don't know technically what day that is. So that's why we give this window day 11 to 15. And yeah, we just hope that we get it and give you that window there. So we talked about eating in your manifestation phase and eating in your bloom phase. We talked about eating in your nurture phase. Now I'm just going to say eating in your grow phase, which is building up estrogen, that day when you first start bleeding until day 10. That's when we want carbs low and we want more fruit and veggies and protein there and lots of healthy fats. Like 60% of your meals are healthy fats. So add in those oils, add in the avocado, the almond butter, add in that stuff there and some seeds as well, and make sure we're building up that estrogen there. That window of opportunity, this also depends. If you are trying to fall pregnant, I would say make sure you're still keeping your carb load up here. Don't change anything. If you're not, I would say bring it down as your hormones are crashing, bring that carb load down and bring up the fruits and veg and the protein, same as what you're doing from that day 1 to day 10. Hopefully this is making sense. If it's going over your head, I highly recommend, listening to this again, writing some notes down, especially, and then just creating a routine for yourself. Because I promise you are going to feel a difference when you start eating and fasting to your hormones. Even when you start creating a life to your hormones, you are going to feel so much different because you're going to understand them and what they need. Your hormones are sending you messages. Your hormones are not punishing you. They're not giving you symptoms out of spite. They're giving you symptoms to tell you what to do. If you're feeling burnt out, run down, your hormones are telling you need to actually slow down. You need to chill out and you need to rethink everything. Listen to your hormones. Okay, so if you want to get started with fasting and you're like, okay, this is great information, Gemma, but honestly, I'm getting overwhelmed and I don't even know how to begin. The first things that I would suggest that you do is first don't even go into fasting, look at what you're eating. Look at your foods that you're eating, because that is how it's going to help you with fasting. If you're eating lots of processed foods, or you're eating those toxic oils, or you haven't been reading nutrition labels, those are the key things that I want you to do first. Look at the back of everything that's packaged and make sure there's only ingredients there that you can understand, that you could go to your cupboard, you could go to the supermarket and buy those ingredients yourself and make. Anything with numbers, anything that's wishy-washy, don't get it. That they're toxins you just don't need. It's just, there's no point. Just don't get them. And it's going to make your fasting times harder and definitely a bit of a challenge. So look at nutritional labels from now on. Don't care how long it takes you when you're at the supermarket and you're deciding what to get. Don't care what other people are thinking when you're looking at the labels. Read the labels. It makes a hell of a difference. You are going to notice a huge difference if you haven't been reading labels, I promise you. So look at labels first, and with the oils, make sure, like out of everything, just make sure you're not having those toxic oils. So canola oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, cottonseed oil, grapeseed, like all of those. But if it says vegetable oil too, stay far away from, because 9 times out of 10, they're all really toxic. I will say, like, there's oils out there, like there are some companies out there that do cold pressed, and they actually have sunflower and safflower oil there, and they're actually healthy for you. So I know this can be quite confusing, but if they're like from a good quality and they're cold pressed and you're not cooking with it, then it's fine. Like if you're just pouring it over a salad or something like that, and it can then be beneficial for your health and stuff. That's so going to be totally confusing for you. So if this is a bit full on and you're like, what, Gemma? Just make it more simple. Just cut out safflower, sunflower, cottonseed, canola oil, vegetable oil. Just cut it all out. Just don't worry. If it has it on the label, don't get it. Then you also want to look at around you, so what you're using, any beauty products you're using, shampoos, conditioners, perfumes, all of that. I highly recommend downloading the app called Think Dirty. You're able to then scan these products that you have, and it will tell you whether it's harmful for you and your health and your body or not. So if you're totally confused when it comes to external products like that, like beauty products and things like that, get the app Think Dirty, and that will help you really understand. There's also another app called Chemical Maze. I do think that one costs, I think it's like $5, but I did purchase that one time, and it was really handy because you can look up ingredients in products that you're like, I have no idea what this ingredient is, and you can look it up and it can tell you whether it's healthy or not. Because when it comes to external products, when you're seeing those chemical names, sometimes they're actually not bad for us. Like chemicals, they have a bad rap, but technically like water is a chemical, right? So some chemicals are actually okay for us. And getting that app, Chemical Maze, is going to really help you identify which ones in the products that you're looking at are actually quite toxic and you should stay away from. It gives you a rating out of like 5 or something, I think, telling you, yes, that's good, it's okay, but in small doses, and then like you should definitely stay away from. So yeah, I highly recommend that app. I also recommend looking at your mental health as well, making sure that you're de-stressing. I've said it before, but the app called, if you have an Apple Watch or a fitness watch or anything like that, you can get the app called Stress Watch, and that will tell you your HRV level. So it'll tell you like where your HRV, your heart rate variability is. The lower it is, the worse. So you want to be over 20. If you're below 20, it's kind of saying like you're way too stressed. So you need to chill out. And it's really eye-opening if you do get this app, because when I got it, I realized how stressed I really was. And it was times where I thought, I just thought it was the normal, because stress becomes like a everyday reality for us. Getting the kids ready in the morning is so stressful on me, and I didn't even realize, because it's like, well, that's what mums do. That's what we do, So we're just constantly stressed. So I highly recommend getting that app and getting, if you have an Apple Watch, because it really is telling. Otherwise, just try to understand your body and understand when are the times that you can feel like you're getting overwhelmed. You can feel like you're getting anxious. Lean into meditations. There's so many free ones that you can do with Insight Timer. That's another app. So download Insight Timer. You can get the free meditation app. Use a couple of those. And they're really good. Their guided meditations are really good if you've never meditated before and you just want to start off. There's like 5-minute ones, 10-minute ones. So some that are really short, which is good. Otherwise, you could do breath work as well. There is an app called Othership, and that helps with breath work. I'm not sure if you have to pay for it or not. I think I used it and it was free. I used some of it and some of it was free, but I don't know if I did a trial or not. I can't remember. But Othership is a good one if you've never done breath work before. Otherwise, there's heaps of breathwork practitioners out there. You can always get in touch with a breathwork practitioner. But breathwork is a really important one too. If you're in the holistic method, you do not need this because you will be taught from us and Gabby. Gabby knows so many techniques. If you listen to our episode on the podcast about regulating your nervous system, you might not even need any of these breathing apps because her techniques are incredible and they 100% work at bringing down regulating your nervous system so that you're not so out of control and anxious. It's really going to help, especially if you're a parent, for those times where your kids are driving you like crazy, because that is affecting your hormones and that is affecting your health. So those are the things that I would start looking at before you even begin fasting. So just to recap, look at the toxins that you're eating, the toxins around you, limit processed foods, look at just having nature's food, so anything that's just grown from the ground. Include protein. When you're doing your protein, try to get antibiotic-free, grass-fed protein. If you can, go to your local butchers. They usually do it. That's the stuff that you want to focus on first before you even begin fasting. Then, when you're ready to start fasting, all you're going to do is just start pushing your eating window back 15 minutes one day. Then if that feels good and you're like, hey, that wasn't too bad, push it back another 15. If that feels good, push it back again. Do half an hour, do an hour. Keep going, and once you feel comfortable and confident with each level, then you want to push yourself again. It's just like working at the gym. Once you've hit a certain weight, it's time to move up. Once you've hit, I do 24-hour fast now and they're really easy for me. So I know I need to push myself more. So the reason why we want to push ourselves more is because it helps train our metabolism. It helps retrain it each time. And then remember, we're going into those phases when we're not fasting anymore. So then our metabolism changes up. And it's the best thing to do to keep switching it up. So I highly, highly recommend starting with that and just easing your way into it at first. So hopefully that all makes sense. I haven't overwhelmed you. Once again, I recommend going back over this, writing down some notes, and let me know how you go. I'm always interested to hear how you're doing, how it's helped you. I love hearing other people's results. Like when that woman told me the other day that she lost 7 kilos, it gave me so much joy because I was like, okay, yay, I'm getting this information out and it's working. Once again, it's all to do with her because she took control and she decided to make the changes. But the information that I'm getting out there, people are receiving and they're trying it for themselves and it's working. So it makes me so happy. Thanks for listening to today's episode. And I'll return next week for part 3 in this series of harnessing the power of your hormones. But bye for now. Bye guys.